JG Collects back again, more with Fan Expo. And like I always say, you never know who's going to appear on the podcast. If you're a My Hero fan, Blue Lock, Tokyo Ghoul, I have a surprise guest for you. I'm with
Chris Wehkamp.
And how's it going this weekend?
It's going great. It's my first time to Cleveland, so I'm super duper happy to be here. And also, the fan response today has been just amazing. Lots of people showed up on a Friday. Never know what it's going to be, but Cleveland has absolutely turned up today. So happy to see you.
Yes, they did. The crowd has absolutely been insane for a Friday. And you were talking about the fans. What has been like the fan favorite of all your characters this week?
I mean, so far, there's been a lot of love for Aizawa from My Hero Academia, for sure. I just had a character come out recently in Solo Leveling as well. People have been talking to me about. His name is Goto Ryuji. He's the Japanese S rank. And so a lot of good conversations about that. Frieren, Zion and Frieren. People can't get enough of Frieren right now. Same thing for Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8, the conversation has been wonderful. So lots and lots of love in a lot of different ways this weekend.
And I'm surprised about the Frieren one because I do watch it and I tell people it's kind of like a slow burn anime, kind of cozy with violence.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, the way Mallory described it, who's the voice of Frieren, is it's Studio Ghibli meets The Lord of the Rings, which I think is a great way to think about it. And if you're a Ghibli fan, you should really check it out.
Yes, you should. And speaking of animes that you should check out, My Hero's entering its final season. Last season was a real tearjerker, especially with your character. How did it feel like doing some of those scenes? What was your thought process going through that?
Yeah, you know, Aizawa has been through the ringer, absolute ringer. And so I just, every time I would see his name get posted on social media or Twitter, like my stomach would drop because I'm like, oh, is he dead? Is he alive? Like, what is happening? And the fact that he's made it this far to protect his kids, I think it's really awesome. He's a really inspirational kind of teacher. You know, he would do anything for his kids. He would sacrifice anything to keep them alive, but he wouldn't tell them that. You know, he's a real tough love kind of guy. So this most recent season, I mean, things are coming to such a head. I feel like the momentum is unstoppable on this show. Like every episode, you can't take your eyes off the screen. They don't really ever give you a moment. And so as we move into the final season, I just really hope that the quality stays high, you know, the emotions stay high, and I hope that all the good guys get to survive.
That's what I'm hoping, because last season, oh man, if you haven't seen it, I suggest everybody to go ahead and watch it. Now, this is probably a tough question since, you know, you're kind of like the head sensei. How would you rank your class? Who is the one that you would, if you had to kick somebody out of class 1A, who would you kick out and why?
Wow. I mean, that probably depends on the season, you know, because these characters have grown so much. I think, you know, look at season 1, season 2, maybe the answer would have been Bakugo. You know, he was just so full of himself, so lost as a character. And yet now I feel like he's one of the most valuable students, bar none. He's grown so much. Like seeing Bakugo's growth throughout the last 7 seasons was one of my favorite parts of the show. You know, and so now I think today I don't know that Aizawa would kick anybody out of the class. Probably a different story in the early days, you know, when these kids still hadn't necessarily shown who they really are yet.
And I love that you brought up Bakugo because his character progression was probably the best out of, besides Deku, because Bakugo, at first I had him penciled in joining the League of Villains. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was going to be Shigaraki's right-hand man at first, but he showed a different lead, and then Deku, he stopped crying. Thank God.
Yeah, no, I think that there was some real question marks there with Bakugo in the beginning. I love to see the relationship between those two and the way it's changed. It's, you know, it's kind of like, it's been the heart of the show for 7 seasons, is seeing the relationship of Bakugo and Deku, the way it's matured, the way they both mature. You know, I like to say when I talk to people about this show on panels, it's like craziest freshman year in history. Because if you think about it, this is all just 1 year. Like this is literally their first year at UA, all these things that have happened. So these students have been through so much when they've just risen to the challenge every time, which I love that message. You know, I love the message of people facing such adversity and really rising to their best selves, you know, to get it. It's been awesome.
And I love that. You had a lot of emotional scenes and you got a lot of quotes. What was your favorite scene out of that whole series?
Man, it's hard to choose just only one favorite, but I will say the one that people ask me to do a lot is probably, I think, season 4 or 5, when Aizawa's having a conversation with Deku, and he's telling him, if you're going to go off on your own, you've got to be careful. You hear me, problem child? And I can't tell you how many people come up to me asking me to call them a problem child. So I don't know what's going on with this fandom, but we have a lot of problem children in this fandom.
No, this fandom is definitely strange, but I'm not going to speak on that. But I do want to speak on something real quick. You're going to be on a show that everybody is pumped for. Fire Force is coming back, and we're all want to know, what can we expect from that?
So, man, this has been one of those shows that people have been waiting years for. And there have been so many stories about, delays. There have been so many issues that have come up in the production. And so getting to a place where we're finally actually going to get another season of Fire Force is like a dream come true for everybody who was involved in this show all these years. And I'm somebody, too, who has always held the hope that, like, eventually it's going to happen, And so many people are like, yeah, it's, this and that. It's not going to happen. So I'm somebody who's been waiting a long time for this to come. And so it's supposed to be dropping next month. Like, literally, it's coming so fast. It's coming in April. So I can't wait. I can't wait to hopefully get back in the shoes of Lieutenant Takehisa Hinawa and get back with Company 8.
I know we all love Company 8, but what fans are really waiting on is, can we finally get the crossover of Soul Eater and Fire Force?
Yeah, man, that was one of the most fun reveals of the last couple of years, is that it turns out these two universes are the same universe, which is crazy. So I'm so interested to see how they tie that into the show this season. Like, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. And so, there's still a lot of fans out there that maybe don't even understand, like, the full scope of that. And so it's just going to be like little Easter eggs throughout, I think, this season. Like, I'm going to be looking for little signs all the way through, just little breadcrumbs, that speak to that crossover. So this is just another exciting thing. It's going to be a great year for anime.
Yes, it is. It's actually, anime is at its peak gold era right now, and I just love everything that is coming out. Now, as every voice actor, what is like a show that you would really want people to watch that doesn't get the recognition that you voiced on?
Absolutely, yeah. There's one show that, in fact, Mallory Rodak, who's the voice of Frieren in the show Frieren, is also in it, and we're co-stars in it. It's a show called Space Battleship Yamato 2199. And I always tell people, like, if you're a fan of Star Trek in any capacity, if you like Star Trek, this is the Star Trek anime. It's literally like the anime version. And it goes all the way back to the 70s. This show's been around a long, long time. They did a reboot of it back in 2012. That's the one that we voice in. And it's all available up on Crunchyroll. If you love space shows and specifically like Star Trek-esque shows, this show is for you.
Wow, I'm definitely going to have to look that up because I do like the Star Trek element of that. Now, for fans who want to keep up with you and see what you're doing, where can they find you on social media?
Well, so I started doing a project back in October where I read bedtime stories. Like, literally every week I read sleepy time bedtime stories. I've always been told I have a relaxing voice, so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start helping people get to sleep and use this voice for something to help people out, because I've always been good at sleeping. That's kind of one of my skills, and I know a lot of people struggle with sleep. So if you go to Sleep Summoner on YouTube, the Sleep Summoner, that's where I post stories every single week, and it's just cozy bedtime stories that I read to you so you can go to sleep at night.
That is awesome and unique. I've never heard nobody doing that. Do you do it in any of your voices?
Occasionally, yeah. It depends on the story. Like, I just recently finished Grimm's Fairy Tales. And so I read all of the Grimm's Fairy Tales. Some of them, the characters I do are a lot more like Aizawa. Some of them are my higher range, and so like more like Natsume's Book of Friends. And so it's a wide range of voices that I use. I'm starting up The Great Gatsby next week. So come check it out. I hope you guys enjoy.
For all the My Hero fans, can we get a quick Aizawa line going to sleep?
Of course. I hope all of you go beyond plus ultra and get a good night's sleep.
You guys heard that. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. I definitely want one. I'm JG Collects, live from Fan Expo, and like that, I'm out.